literate people had to become literate because they were motivated by money. So you're motivated by a few dollars, but you're not motivated by a permanent paradise? That's ridiculous.
And you don't have that hunger anymore, and then obviously things start to fall apart.
I had the choice to make. Do you go to trial and end up getting 10 years and end up being a sex offender on a crime you didn't commit?
That was the first time, like, somebody told me something that, like, I couldn't see or touch, and I believed it.
Islam teaches you prevention and not cure. Prevention over the cure. You know, the Quran is full of stories for benefit. You get benefit from the stories and from the Quran. And you know, our famous imams of hadith or fiqh, they went through a lot of trials. Whether it was government, whether it was, I wanted to know what is a trial or what's the name that you had to face where it wanted you to compromise your deen. I know everyone has to go through that.
Oh man. I don't know.
Just
how raw we can get. I would say it's not. You know, I wasn't tempted, to be honest with you.
Yes.
It wasn't a temptation, but for many people, it would have.
Yes.
The FBI tried to hire me.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, when I came back from Yemen,
Yes.
it was 204 before 205, and you know you're going through the normal motions in the airport with the border patrol, blah blah blah. I never forget this. I had my family with me, my kids, and I knew it was going to happen from the stories that I heard.
Right.
You know, and the fame and the infamy of Yemen. You know, the reputations. You know, people say. I said we're gonna get bothered. So when we got to the border, I'll never forget this. We landed. And this is not offensive to nobody or no race. I'm just telling the story as it is. Right? This big white dude.
Yes.
This big, broad, like Hulk Hogan type of white dude with his sleeves rolled up.
Right.
Pythons. You know what I'm saying? Tattoos. Blonde white guy, right?
Yes.
And subhanAllah, really quick, pause the tape. Later on in my travels, dawah and knowledge, I learned the philosophy of the border. And it's no different than a state trooper.
Yes.
They're trying to intimidate you.
Right.
So some people, they ask the question, why do state troopers have shaven heads? There are different methods on why they're all shaven. One of the opinions is that it's meant to intimidate you.
Right.
And that this person is as unnatural looking as possible. Think about it, bald head versus hair. So they all have skin heads. Why is this? Why do state troopers have skin heads? Why do they all look the same? Why do the military people look the same in the airport or the train station? The guys with the guns, you always see them what? Beefy and bulky. Is this not the case? You're not gonna find a little, Squidward type of guy, because it's mental warfare. So when you land at the border, they're trying to intimidate you, even though it's your country and you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't make it, but they're trying to mentally. Can't say it on camera. You're trying to, your mind. So the white dude, you know what I'm saying? And it's nothing against white people.
Yes.
We're not with that racist crap.
Yes.
Excuse me, we're not with that. That's not a hadith type of way. I'm just telling the story. So, and there are plenty of white Caucasian disciples in the world. Alhamdulillah, our brothers and sisters, for Allah's sake. So we're not none of that trash, that racial trash. What's important is big Hulk Hogan type of white dude, blind guy, tattoos all on his arms. He swipes a passport. He said, Then he swipes and hit a little thing. I said, here we go. So he's like, yeah, you have to get out of line and go down to the room. So I said, for what? I was young. I was a little more fiery.
Right.
I wasn't as, composed and, matured as I am now. Even though now I can still, if you say the wrong thing at the wrong time, you might, So at the end of the day, he's like, you got to go. I said, for what? He's like, listen, you got to get out of line. You got to go. Don't ask me. I said, all right, whatever. Took my passport. And we just took this long flight. Coming from Jordan, coming from Yemen, everybody tired, jet lagged, hungry kids, wife and kids, they gotta sit down there. They gotta wait. So go into the office. I get inside the office and there's two plainclothes guys. One dude wearing a suit and a tie, and the other dude wearing, you would call it tweed, elbow patch type of blazer, the ID, some Dockers khakis on, like a regular type of guy, right? And then the lady walks me in there. She worked with the border patrol, all right, TSA, whatever case. She was like Asian lady, Chinese descent or something, whatever. So she walks me in with my passport. She gives the passport to them. oh, so the guys, they start talking to me. Tell us about your trip. Where were you? How long did you stay? What were you doing? What were you studying? Blah, 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 blah. All right, no problem, no problem, no problem. What kind of Muslim are you? Da, 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 you know. So I answer the questions, and then I you know, this was back then. I was very young, you know what I'm saying? This is what, maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like, listen, I don't believe in this stuff. We're not a part of this stuff. We don't practice any terrorism, da 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 da. A little different, you know what I'm saying? So the guy said, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, we know, trust me, it's just, you know, you just got selected. Don't even worry about it. So the Asian lady, she put the passports down. She's like, all right, Mike, such and such, Dan. Yeah, all right, yeah, peace. Left, walked out the door.
Yeah.
Soon as the door closed, people, the hypocrisy. He said, listen, Muhammad. He said, that lady, Officer Chin, whatever her name is, she does not work with us. You don't have to explain anything to her. Her issue is your name, passport, borders, that's it. You don't have to say nothing else to her. She says, the reason why you in the room is that we want to talk to you. We want to pick your brain. That's what he said to me. He said, a person as smart and devoted to Islam as yourself could do wonders against the war against terrorism. That's what he said to me. Wallahi. He said, you can work wonders. We would love to have you on our team. Us picking you will be a dream. Somebody young, Black American, not from, you know, another country. You know the culture. Your English isn't no accent. You speak fluent Arabic, fluent English. You studying. We would love to have you on the payroll. So I said, well, you know, no, thank you. He said, well, listen. He said, listen.
Think about it.
We understand your situation.
Yes.
And that's when my mind was blown. I was young. I didn't know, you know, what I knew now. You know, they said, we know your situation. We know that you don't have money. We know that you're not working. We know that you're devoted to your studies. I'm like, whoa, how the heck you know that? You know, and it's deep. He's like basically offering me, like, we'll take care of you financially. We will give you what you need and what you want.
That's tough.
So I said, no, thank you. He said, oh, come on, you know. He said, I would love to just pick your brain. Huh? Have you ever heard of this? The USS Cole, the Gulf of Aden. Remember that? When they blew up the submarine, you know, whatever, the ship. All of that stuff. Yemen, did you go to Aden? So it was deep. But alhamdulillah, back then, me being 19 or 20, no matter how young I was, hungry, tired, I knew death before dishonor. And I knew that there's a rule, whether it's Philly, the Mafia is big in Philly back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Joey Merlino, stand for all of those people, you know, the mob wars, right? You know you do not cooperate with them boys. You don't lay in bed with them at all, period. Because they have no loyalty, no trust, no honor. And all they're going to do is use you. And the moment you are no longer of a benefit to them, they will discard you, throw you out, spit you out like a fishbowl. Let alone, is it even permissible in Islam for you to be an FBI informant? Is that permissible? Is that lawful to be spying on Muslims and feeding the stereotypes and the prejudices and all of the, you know, the nonsense? It's after 9/11 now.
Right.
And that's another part of the story. When I went overseas after 9/11, I was in high school when 9/11 happened. It was crazy. SubhanAllah, it was crazy. I was on a train full of people, crowded, everybody scared. I was like, what's going on? What happened? I had no idea what happened in Philly. So the moral of the story is, he's like, come on, Muhammad. Like, you know, he said, do you like it? Do you like coffee? Like, you know what I'm saying? Would you like some coffee? I said, oh, thank you. He said, you like tea? He said, okay, man, you gotta let me take you to Starbucks, man. Let me, you know. I said, no, thank you. So they tried. I got my passports. I left. Couple of weeks later, I had this was back in the flip phone days. It was a Nokia. I had a friend of mine, brother named Yusuf. He got me a phone in his name. This was the next year. I got accepted to Medina, and I came back in the summer. He got me a flip phone under his name. One day I get a random phone call, and I don't want to say his name on camera. Okay. The federale, the dude from the airport. Hey, Muhammad, how you been? What? I said, yeah, how's it going? He said, I still owe you the cup of tea, man. You know, you never called me back. You never got with me. I gave you my card. I said, okay, yeah, right. I'll think about it. And the moral of the story is, how the heck did he get that number? Wow. How did he trace me down? The moral of the story is, I talked to the other brothers, and some of them, they did a little more than reject a cup of tea. You understand? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then years later, going through other things in my life, right? I talked to other brothers, and it was one brother, you know, he totally disrespected him. They would hunt him, chase him down. They said to him, don't think about telling the authorities And don't think about going to your Muslim brothers, because all of them work for us anyway. They're all on the payroll. And of course, I got other stories which I don't want, I ran my
That's for another episode.
Yeah, perhaps. But the moral of the story is, just like that, if I would have said yes, or took that cup of tea, they would have purchased me. They would have bought me out. And they're not telling you can't give dawah. We want you to give dawah. We want you. You can make a hajj. You make a hajj and umrah every year for free. We're going to pay for your tickets. Who you want to take? And I've heard, different things. You want to be imam of this man shit? We'll make it happen like that. A phone call is done. No, thank you. So, never sell out. Never sell out. Death before dishonor. No. That's the rule. And we only survive by following the rules. And as a wise man once said, without the rules, he said, never break the rules. He said, this whole thing will crack and crumble when we stop following the rules. And the Muslims are supposed to know that. In taqwa, right?
Right.
And Allah surely knows best.
Yes.